Yo, what's going on, everybody? Are you looking for movies or TV shows, recommendations on what to watch this month, the month of May 2022? If you're anybody like me, you love to watch the latest movies and TV shows and things like that. And so today, me and my friend Alex, we wanted to get on here and just give you guys some recommendations and some things to look out for, some things that we're really excited for releasing this month. And to help me do that, as I mentioned before, is Alex. So let me call him up real quick. Here we go.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
What's
what's
going
up,
on?
dude? You doing all
Nothing
right?
much. Oh yeah, doing good.
Yeah, we
Doing
were just
good.
talking. So, talking some movies, talking some shows, and we want to present those to you. We're gonna do our top five, and Alex is gonna go first, and then
All
I'm
right.
gonna go second, and we'll both talk about it. And Alex, just give like your reasons and stuff for why you wanted to go with, why these are in your top five. I know there's tons of things that come out every month, so it's not like just by picking these five, these are like the only things that are coming out, but just why they speak to you personally, and why you chose them and everything. So we'll get started with you with number five.
All right. Well, number 5 for me is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the new movie, I believe, coming out on Disney Plus. And it is number 5 for me because it just looks amazing. The animation style is hilarious that they're going with both CG and the classic 2D. And if you guys haven't seen the trailer, I definitely recommend it. They mentioned that he got a 3D surgery to be changed in animation style, as you see on the right there. So I'm excited to see how they do that for both of those characters. It's interesting to see that they're like retired, and so it'll be fun to see them in like almost like a Looney Tunes back in action way, to where like tunes are in real life and it's not just the Toon world. So it'll be cool to see them revisit like tunes in real life again, because we haven't seen that in a long time. At number 4,
Oh
we've
wait, can I
got
say something real quick
yeah,
about Chip and Dale?
go for it.
I think the animation style looks amazing. Like, I'll just pull it back up real quick. Yeah, just the fact that they're recognizing like the old like 2D style, but then trying to also like do a 3D, which is what I think a lot of movies these days are going for, is like that 3D sort of style, like with the Sonic movie, for example, that just came out. So I think it's super interesting that they're like, it goes with like this whole idea of the meta commentary that we've been talking about for like movies that have been coming out recently, where they are trying to, do something new, take a existing franchise and do something with it. So it's cool that they're like acknowledging that, they're trying to take like revive the old Chip and Dale franchise. Like that's so cool. And I think that the blend of different visual styles, I think, is gonna really be what sells this movie for sure.
Yeah, it'll be, and not to mention that you've got John Mulaney and Andy Samberg as the two voices, which is just amazing. Just the trailer itself was so much fun to watch, and hearing their voices behind it just makes so much sense with the way the characters act around each other. So that one is coming out in May 20th on Disney Plus. So I'm excited to see that.
Is it also coming out in theaters too, or is it just Disney Plus? Do you know?
I think it's Disney Plus. Let's see. Pretty sure. Yeah, only on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's a Disney Plus exclusive. So
all right, so that's number 5 for Alex.
5.
So we're going top 5. So 5, and we're gonna go to 4 right now.
We got Stranger Things season 4. So that one will come out in 2 parts. First 5 episodes are coming out May 27th, and then the last 3 episodes are coming out on July 1st. I do not remember if this is going to be the final season for them, but either way, I am excited to see what they do with the story as they kind of go back to Hawkins, as well as visiting Eleven and seeing Hopper after his time in Russia as a prisoner. You can see there that Will already looks older. Obviously, that's timeline, like depending on if they decide to do a flash forward, which would make sense. And so trying to do, because of the coronavirus pandemic and everything, production time was pushed back. So that kind of, obviously, since they were younger actors, that makes it harder for them to stay in continuity with how they look. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do some kind of time jump or something. And then something that really caught my eye, as you guys know, I'm a huge nerd, and when it comes to D&D, I love everything D&D. And their main villain this time. So last time, well, first season was Demogorgon. Second season, I think they just played off of the Demogorgon and a little bit more into that. And then the third season, they really put it into the Mind Flayer, all of which were not the D&D representations of those characters slash monsters. And then this upcoming season, they have already announced that it is Vecna, who is a huge product of D&D, going back to one of the first editions, possibly even the first edition had it in its lore as just a huge big bad, whether it's a deity or someone trying to ascend a deity. It's a huge character in D&D lore, so I'm excited to see what they do in terms of their world, as it is obviously completely different from standard D&D lore and all their mechanics. So I'm very excited to see what kind of abilities they give him, what kind of interactions they have with him. And as we saw, it looks like 11 doesn't have her powers, but somebody else does, and possibly how those things conflict and how 11 tries to adapt to normal school. So that'll be interesting to see for sure. But I'm very excited as they've been coming out. I've always been a huge fan of Stranger Things ever since they first started. So really excited to see that coming out. That is obviously a Netflix exclusive, as it's always been Netflix exclusive.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of Stranger Things too. I'm not caught up though. You know, I am not caught up. I know I asked you before we went live. I was like, yeah, you've watched it. You're like, yeah, of course. You've been waiting for this season for a while, and I think a lot of fans, if you've been waiting for this, I hope it really hits that, just with that expectation that fans probably have for it.
Yeah, because the last season was July 4th, 2019. So yeah, 3 years ago.
It's been a minute, man. Yeah, I feel like it has been a while too. Like I'm not following the show as closely, but I know it seems like it's been a while since the last season.
Yeah, been almost. It'll be 3 years for part 2 when that comes out for this new season. So it's crazy, which is why there's such a big age difference with the cast, because a lot of them are now in their 20s versus being teenagers when they were first airing those first couple of seasons. So, but I'm excited to see their acting capabilities, as let's see, I saw Millie Bobby Brown in Enola Holmes, which is pretty good. I don't know if I've really seen the other actors in anything recently. David Harbour did Black Widow. He was amazing in that. So
he was so good. He was
always a fan of him. He's great. So excited to see that coming up again, and looking forward to see what they do with the different storylines that they could go with, and how they treat kind of interaction between the Upside Down and the real world. So once again, that'll be May 27th, and for the first part, and the second part will be July 1st.
Awesome. So that's number 4.
Number 4. So now going to number 3, something that I have been excited since they announced it. I had to be like 2018, 2017, which is Top Gun Maverick. I am so excited for this movie. I love Top Gun. I grew up watching Top Gun with my brother so many times. We've seen it so many times. We can quote half of it whenever we watch it together. One of my favorite Tom Cruise movies for sure. Very excited to see how they continue his story, as he's now an instructor at the facility, and seeing kind of, I don't know really any details about the story, which I'm very happy about, because I prefer to go into a movie or TV show as blind as possible, just so it doesn't sway in what I kind of think about it before going into it. So I'm very excited for this. Definitely gonna have to rewatch Top Gun a couple times before now and then. But Tom Cruise knocks it out of the park in almost any movie he does. So very excited to see him reprise his role in this movie.
And Maverick, I was just gonna say real quick, definitely looking forward to this movie. It's in my top 5 recommendations for you guys too. What do you think about, because we don't really know much about the story, but it seems like he is an instructor. Maverick as an instructor, man. What an interesting story.
It'll be something else. I think one of the few clips that I've seen was him doing like a dogfight lesson with a couple of the recruits, and them saying like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just an old guy, and he just completely flies circles around them, and it's hilarious. And so I'm excited to see what they do with it. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of push it into more of an action movie than the 80s movie that it was before. But hopefully they don't go too far into explosions and all that stuff, but keeping it to the drama that is associated with it, and obviously getting some amazing shots of Tom Cruise flying a jet. You can't go wrong with that. And even in the trailer, we've already got a shot of him on a motorcycle, which is like standard. Can't have Top Gun without him on a
Playing
motorcycle.
volleyball on the beach,
Playing
having
volleyball.
a girl around his waist. Yeah, of course.
Always. So excited to see how that one goes. And then moving on to number 2 will be Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series. I am so excited for this. The only reason I have this as number 2 is because Doctor Strange comes out tomorrow. That's kind of the only reason that this is a little bit lower on the list, because I've been amped up to see Doctor Strange, but obviously this one, if it was any other time of the year, this would be top of the 5, no doubt. Very excited to see Ewan McGregor back in the seat of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Love him as an actor, and obviously love the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm very excited to see what they do with his story, as there's a lot of tough comics that are around the story between episode 3 and episode 4, and different comics that show his interactions with Darth Vader and interactions between him and Owen and everything, with how Luke is growing up. So I'm very excited to see how that comes onto the big screen, because they never go with exactly what the comics is, but they usually draw inspiration from it. But then it's also Star Wars, where they do whatever they want, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I am very, very, very excited to see this. I believe it's May 26th, I want to say. So when that comes out, and I can't be like, obvious, like I said, if Doctor Strange wasn't coming out tomorrow, this would be number 1.
Yeah, in case you guys don't know, I mean, you guys should probably know if you're on the internet, but yesterday was Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Oh yeah, May the 4th.
We got an awesome trailer for this new
trailer
show. I mean, it's amazing. Got me so hyped for this, and a lot of people were commenting on the trailer post when Disney dropped it, like, why isn't this coming out now? It's Star Wars Day, like that's kind of how I feel too. Like if it was coming out like right now, of course,
it's all marketing.
Yeah, they got like Star Wars. I think they have like a convention.
It's competing with themselves. Well, that's the other thing. It's competing with themselves. So you don't want to launch Obi-Wan Kenobi while Moon Knight is finishing, and you've got Doctor Strange this weekend. So there comes a point where you got to spread it out, so that way you can have people stay on for the rest of the month, versus dropping it and coming back very quickly or whatever. And I am surprised that this is, I believe it's only 6 episodes. So we'll see how long each episode will be. But this is, it'll be crazy to see Ewan McGregor once again as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm very excited to see the Inquisitors in live action. I want to say this is the first time we've seen them in live action. We've seen them in the video games. We've seen them in both the Rebels and in the Clone Wars series. So it's very, very cool to see the spinning lightsabers, obviously, the different styles of fighting that they have depending on the Inquisitor. And I'm definitely excited, as they mentioned, that they're going to try to get every bounty hunter to come after Obi-Wan. So I'm curious to see if we see any cameos from the Darth Vader gallery of bounty hunters that we kind of expected to see in Boba Fett, but that never showed up. So it'd be really cool to see even Greedo showed up. Like obviously he's gonna live through the encounter, but it'd be really cool to see just a couple of Easter eggs drop from the original trilogy. And we mentioned this, we talked about it a little bit before the stream started, but it's going to be crazy to see his interaction with Owen, like Uncle Owen, between like as Luke is growing up, rather than them not really interacting at all in episode 4. It's really cool to see how Owen really takes charge of his whole of like Luke's life because of what happened on Coruscant, and like what he's heard about from Obi-Wan and from other people as to what happened with the other Jedi. It's like the trailer line where it's like how you trained his father. Like that's crazy that is the line that was said, and it's
That's
I'm
that's such a
so
savage line, dude. We talked
yeah.
about that. He didn't have to go. He didn't have to go that hard with that. That was a low blow.
And I really hope they keep that tone with the show, because something Disney Plus is kind of guilty of is they start out with a certain tone and then they flip it by the end to be a crowd pleaser, which isn't necessarily bad. But for a more serious show like this, I really hope they keep that tone all the way through the end. Because something that I was thinking about earlier today, I recently watched the finale for Moon Knight, and they have an knack for building up a lot of tension and then just kind of overdoing the finale. And so I'm hoping this like kind of leads into like how he sees Luke in a different light, and so he chooses not to train him, and shows how he kind of becomes a little disconnected from the Force until Luke becomes of age. And so it'll be cool to see how all of that comes out in live action. And between now and then, I might get a chance to read some of the comics and kind of get some of the history, so I can spot any other Easter eggs, and keep you guys appraised when we get there. But it'll be very cool for sure.
Awesome, man. Yep, that's your job to keep us up to date on all the books and comics and stuff that we don't have the time to read. So, but yeah, so that was number
two. So now we got number one.
Last but not least.
And like I said, if this was any other time, Kenobi would be first, but this movie has been on their list since 2018, I think. It was like right before Endgame came out.
Sam Raimi.
And Sam Raimi's directing it, which is obviously a step in the right direction. And I'm so excited to see what they do with this, because this is going to decide like the rest of this phase of the Marvel Universe, and it's going to shape how a lot of other movies are done. And just what can this movie can go any direction they want it to, and end however they want it to, because of the nature of this movie. And so the story around this is going to be insanity. And one of the comics that I've read is the House of M comic, which is all about how Wanda creates her own private area. Like she basically rewrites reality for their world, and it's a whole other story. And I'd love to see if that comes to fruition, as there's like shots of a wedding that Steven is there, like Doctor Strange is there as a guest, or like a best man type scenario, not the groom, which means it could be possibly Wanda's wedding. We see him using the Darkhold. We see her interacting with other versions of herself. So another thing I'm curious about is who's the villain going to be. If it's going to be Wanda, if it's going to be different versions of Doctor Strange interacting with himself. Obviously we know that the Illuminati is involved with this. So to see if they become fully involved, or if they stick to the shadows, or possibly even if Kang and the TVA shows up, because we have all the multiverse stuff happening. So who they could pull whoever they want. And obviously something that would be so cool, but probably won't happen, is if Wolverine shows up. We know from the trailer that Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, shows up, which again, it's Doctor Strange, it's Marvel, so they purposely make fake trailers, and they shoot fake trailers for a reason. So I hope that is not fake. But at the same time, it's multiverse. They could do whatever they want and it would work. So I'm excited just to sit back and watch this insanity that's about to happen.
Let's do it on the stream. Let's make a bet. Wolverine.
Oh man.
Wolverine will be in this movie. Are you taking the bet? Yes or no? Let's
I would
do.
take that bet. I would
You want to do?
take that bet.
What do you do? $5? $5?
Sure, I'm gonna do a $5 bet. I'm good with
Okay.
that. I would bet $5 that he's gonna show up.
Okay. I guess I'll take the he won't show up. I hope he does though.
It'd
I'll be
be
happy to give you
crazy,
that $5.
but I feel like I would have already seen that somewhere if that was happening.
All right. So now, you pick. What's another thing you want to see? Wanda? You think Wanda will be the villain, or do you think it'll be like someone else?
I don't think she will be, because something that Marvel does very well in the trailers is point the blame at somebody and then have someone that doesn't show up in the trailer at all be the actual villain. So I don't think she's going to be the end all be all villain. I personally think the villain, I don't think it's going to be Mephisto. It'd be cool if he showed up, but I don't think he's going to. Everybody thinks he's going to show up every time that they do anything with Doctor Strange. But I think it could be the Illuminati, where they step in and basically like erase what happened to keep the rest of the multiverse safe. And so Doctor Strange has to go head to head with them. Or it could be Mordo kind of goes full on
I was gonna say
anti-magic, which I don't know if that's going to happen since he's working with the Illuminati, it looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Can I say something about Mordo?
Go for it.
I don't think he's gonna be the villain. I recently watched Doctor Strange 1 a couple of days ago. And I think that there's a couple lines of dialogue and even the scenes they share together where it's alluded to that Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo are both kind of like, or I guess he's just Mordo. They're kind of like two sides of the same coin, if that makes sense.
I would definitely agree with that.
Where Mordo's character, he's a brilliant actor too. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays.
He's
Baron
great.
Mordo. He's amazing.
Great.
But he's the one side of the coin to the mystic arts that Stephen Strange is the other side of the coin. So basically, from what I saw from rewatching that movie, it's basically like they need each other, because one is like he has the strong will and he has the like sort of the take charge initiative, which is Mordo. And then Strange is like he's more of the creative, imaginative thinker. Like he kind of thinks outside the box. And Mordo's more like sort of narrow focused. Yeah. But it's sometimes you need to have that narrow focus because he takes action. Like, and sometimes Strange can kind of get wrapped up in his own head and like what could happen. I'm not sure if that's true, but kind of how it spoke to me watching the first one again. And so I think they're kind of setting up Mordo to be more of like an anti-hero, or like the other side to Stephen Strange, or like almost like they team up.
I can definitely see that happening. I am curious to see kind of which Doctor Strange we get, because we've seen like 5 different styles of Doctor Strange depending on the movie he's in. Because the Doctor Strange, the first movie, he's like Doctor Strange, he's much like, obviously he's still learning, but he's very cocky. But then once he learns, he's no longer like, he kind of tries to stick to the rules a little bit. And then we see him in Infinity War and Endgame, and he is not, he's like sticking to the rules, but like for whatever, for like the other reason, and he uses the Eye of Agamotto the way it's supposed to be used, and he uses all these different abilities, and he's very serious. And then we get No Way Home, Doctor Strange, completely like flipped, kind of much more similar to the first Doctor Strange we see, where it's he knows everything, and so it's basically he knows all the rules, so now he can break them in the right way. So he knows like spells that you're not technically supposed to use, but you can use them in the right way and it's fine. But then things go awry, he's still able to fix his mistakes, but he's still super cocky. So he thinks he can do it on his own and do the spell you're not supposed to do. So I wonder how far on that spectrum we're going to get, at least at the beginning of the movie, to where it's like, I can push this to the limits because I know what I'm doing, versus I'm going to stick to the rules because I know what I'm doing. So it's kind of interesting to see where in that spectrum he's going to land for this one.
That makes sense. I think I'm totally on board with you. And I think just to kind of cap my thoughts going off of you choosing this to be your most anticipated movie, or movie/TV show. I think it's really cool because I think that this could be like a paradigm shift in the whole cinematic universe. Like it could be just like how Iron Man was sort of the linchpin of the whole cinematic universe. It kind of seems like they're pushing Doctor Strange to almost be that
The new
taking up that
Iron
mantle.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
the new leader.
I think he was even supposed to be in is this right? Like he was even supposed to be in WandaVision, I thought too. But COVID,
There
I
was
think COVID stopped them from being able to shoot his scenes or something like that. I forget. I might have seen that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
I don't know. I
I
should probably look
wouldn't
that
be
up.
surprised if he was supposed to be in it and he just didn't show up. But knowing Disney, I feel like they would have found a way to do it if he was supposed to be in it. There was probably some draft that he was in it, and then they cut that part out. Like there was probably some part in the script where he was going to show up, but they decided to keep that for Multiverse. Because remember, Multiverse was supposed to be like directly after WandaVision on the original
Right.
schedule. Like it was supposed to go like one into the other. And so that's where now, because of COVID and that shuffled the timeline a lot, it's this timeline of movie to movie and like what time is it actually in the MCU is a lot more like skewed and unsure of where everything falls now, because I don't think it's necessarily in chronological order with release order anymore, which is what it was before the pandemic. And so
Got you.
they could be any time now because of the time jump between Infinity War and Endgame. And then you have Shang-Chi that there's no timeline established. No Way Home is like almost directly after Endgame, or like who knows how long are between Endgame and No Way Home. And then from that to Doctor Strange, who knows? So like it's kind of, they have a lot more leeway with it because now it's not tied to this is what year it is, which is what it was for the entirety of like phase one. And so it's or the entire like Infinity Saga, you could put a year to almost every single movie, and usually it was the year that it came out. So with Doctor Strange and everything post pandemic, unless they slap a date on there, then we will know what time, like what year it is and where the timeline is at. But until they do, this could be at any point.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I had to kind of throw a little bit of discussion in there because it's your, the one that you're recommending the highest, and it's definitely in my top. I mean, if it wasn't number one, I mean, it would just be slightly below it. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I'm just really looking forward to it. Like I said, there could be some cool stuff that's happening that could maybe spell the future for Marvel in terms of Avengers, in terms of like shuffling it up a little bit, keeping it fresh. And it's kind of cool that you mentioned Moon Knight too, because we're going to be talking about Moon Knight and releasing a video of our thoughts on that soon, after the whole series has just finally, gone through. And we loved. I think we really loved it. We really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
But it also has like some things that it seems like they're shaking up and changing, like some new stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is really good for you guys to hear, because it means that we're talking about Marvel movies still. Yeah, we're still talking about Disney stuff. But there's good reason to talk about it, because it's still relevant, and they're pushing the boundaries and the storytelling. They're shaking things up, and that's what you need. If it stayed the same, it would just be boring. I think people would just stop watching it.
Yeah, if you have too many movies that are in a engine and just chunking out the same thing over and over, it gets real old real quick. I mean, just look at Iron Man 3 and Thor 2, both of those were kind of just revamps of previous stuff, and neither of them really landed that well, versus Captain America Winter Soldier, which I think was like the same year or the next season, like what flipped the script and did a huge story movement with it versus just being another action movie. So it really, like, you really have to keep pushing that envelope and keep expanding if you want this thing to keep moving the way that they're still planning all of this stuff that they have going on, which is just crazy, the amount of things that they have planned out, which they can do because they're going to keep making money off of it. So it'll be it's crazy to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, man, wouldn't you love to be with like Kevin Feige and the head executives, like on that retreat where they're planning out like the next like 50 years of
the next
Marvel
like
movies.
10 years of everything that's happening.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall and just be like, oh, okay, like just being excited, like X-Men, some of these other things that we really loved when we were kids, and how they're going to be bringing those into, Captain America and like some of these other more like modern Marvel stuff. But as long as they bring back the original Fantastic Four with Michael Chiklis, bring Chris Evans, but like he's not the Chris Evans Captain America Chris Evans. He's the Human Torch Chris Evans.
It would be so funny is if
dude, he could be in Multiverse of Madness. You never know.
If in Multiverse we see
that.
Captain America, we see Chris Evans. So we see Chris Evans as Captain America, see Chris Evans as Human Torch, and we see Chris Evans as his character from Losers, which is also technically a Marvel comic. It would just be so funny if we have to see him with 3 different versions of himself, and you see Old Man Cap come in at some random point, and just like, guys, we gotta go.
Like, and we see Buzz Lightyear come in. You know,
it just it's like, oh wait, this is the wrong Disney property. My bad. You see Deadpool just pull him off.
Oh, Deadpool. Yeah, and then Deadpool, man.
If he could show up,
if he shows up, bro.
Oh man,
it'd be awesome. I love Ryan Reynolds.
So many things.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, go watch our video I just posted about the Atom Project.
The Atom Project, yeah.
We recorded that.
Enjoyed that a lot. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my top 5. So do you want to run down your top 5 real quick before I get into my top 5?
Definitely. So we got Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers at number 5. Then we've got Stranger Things season 4 for number 4. Top Gun Maverick for number 3. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series for number 2, and at number 1, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Awesome. And those are ranked in we're kind of restating what we said at the beginning, but these are ranking in like level of anticipation and level of hype for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So just because something might not be on here doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be good. It just means that, you know, some of these things really caught our attention a little bit more than some of the other movies or shows. And Alex, I would say you're more of like a TV guy too. Like you can do movies and shows. I'm definitely more of a movie guy. I'm so happy that you got the Regal pass and now you're going to movies like all the time now. And that's awesome. And like, it's super awesome. But for me, like having had it for a year and seeing all these different things, it's like really, I really enjoy the movie theater experience and going to the theater. So a lot of the stuff that I have here, unless it's like a super hype show, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I mostly have movies. So I'm actually going to get into talking about my number 1, which is Firestarter. So this is a new Stephen King adaptation of a Stephen King novel by the same name. And I think there's also been a movie. Alex, I might be wrong on that, but I think I saw there was like a movie, like a TV miniseries or something about the Stephen King property.
I am not sure. As I saw the trailer for this like today was the first time I had seen a trailer for that, but I can look it up for you real quick.
It's all good. This kind of stands out to me because I think it's actually releasing on Hulu or
so there's a 1984 version. So there is. They did come out with Firestarter in 1984, and the poster is almost identical to what the new one is.
Oh, it looks like this one.
Yeah, it's almost identical to that. Yep. So it's definitely the same content.
Yeah, let me sum it up for you guys. So from what I tell from the trailer, from the story, because I didn't read the book and I also didn't watch the 80s movie or show. I don't really know too much about the source material, but it basically seems like there's this young girl who's born with superpowers, basically. Like pyrokinetic, is that what you call you being able to set fire with your mind?
Something like that. Yeah.
Pyrokinetic.
I
keep owing to you like you would know. Yeah, like I don't know.
Well, honestly, I think like pyrotechnics, but that's tech. So pyrokinetic, that makes it. That tracks.
I think I got it right. Let us know if you know what the word we're looking for is.
It's like telekinetic, but with fire. So pyrokinetic makes sense.
But anyways, it's so a girl and she's born with like these powers or this ability to basically start fire, something like that with her mind. Which is a really cool concept. And I'm assuming like government agencies, some shady government agency is trying to capture her and find her so that they can turn her into some type of weapon or some type of, thing that they can use for energy, maybe. I don't know. And she's growing up. So she's got the little kid. She's not a little kid, but she's like kind of growing in that angsty, her body's changing, her hormones or whatnot are changing. So it's probably harder for her to control her powers because I think that her powers are tied to like the amount of pain or the amount of stress or whatever that's on her. I think I saw from the trailer, like I'm inferring from the trailer. And Zac Efron is in this movie, plays the father character to her. So I do really enjoy Zac Efron when he does a dramatic role, and this seems like a dramatic role where he's a dad who's trying to protect his daughter. And the daughter is special, obviously have superpowers, but it also seems like there could be like some cool family element that's tied in. This movie is going to come out in theaters and I believe on Hulu. I think it's Hulu. It's either Hulu or Peacock. I should have looked up the specific streaming service. It wasn't one of the major streaming services. I think it was like Peacock or something like that. And it's going to come out the same day it comes on streaming. It's going to be released in theaters. So you can actually buy your movie tickets and stuff to go see it. And so that's number 5 on my list, Firestarter, just because I haven't read the source material, but a lot of Stephen King stories and stuff are really great. Some of my favorite stories are adaptations from Stephen King, which is really dope. And I think I would really like the story that's going on here. So
and just to answer your question,
do you have anything you want to say?
It is, yeah, it's coming out on Peacock. Is the streaming service that's coming out at the same time as theaters as Peacock. So I went and looked that up for you.
Awesome. All right, so that's number 5, and so we're gonna move on, I guess, to number 4, another movie. This is an A24 film, and this is the movie called Men, and Men is coming out, I think, on May 20th. On May 20th, this movie is coming out in theaters. So me and Alex had a conversation before we went live, just talking about there's a production studio. If you guys don't know what this production studio is called, or don't know the production studio called A24, you don't know much about it, you should definitely look them up. Look up their movies. They've made some pretty incredible thrillers and horror movies and that type of thing, but also movies that are just weird and sort of tell a different story than the traditional, production studio in Hollywood. They're not going to appeal to wider audiences. They're going to appeal more to like more story focused. Like if you really care about the details and the settings and stuff like that, like the little, I guess you could call it, like if you're a really big fan of cinematography, really like detailed oriented projects, and you're really going to like A24 films. And this is the latest A24 film that's going to be being released on May 20th, as I said. And it seems to be an allegorical film. I don't think a lot of the stuff that you see in the trailer for this movie, I don't think a lot of that stuff is actually happening. This woman goes off to a remote, secluded location, I think somewhere in the UK, because she has a British accent, and the people that she's around have British accents as well. So she goes on like this trip because I think her husband, is shown in the trailer, commits suicide, and so she's dealing with some emotional, just some grief and stuff like that. And so she goes out to this retreat. It seems like this like sanctuary type place, and she meets a bunch of characters. The only twist, right, because of these types of movies that this production studio makes, the twist is that the characters she meets are all the same guy, but just with like different little changes. So in one scene, she's talking to the clergyman, like the pastor, the priest, and it's the same actor, same person, but just has like a different haircut and a different style to his like clothes, and he's wearing like the priestly outfit. She goes to a bar and is talking to a guy at the bar, and that guy is the same guy that's the priest, but just in like a different outfit, and acts different. Like all of them are acting different. So I think it's going to be some pretty incredible performances. Obviously, if you've watched shows or movies where someone has to pretend that they're multiple different personalities, I think that also lends a lot of like reasons why you should, just be interested in seeing what's going on with this movie. But it also seems like it's very dark. And I see a lot of, as I said before, allegory to, pain and trauma, but also maybe like the vulnerability of women in certain settings, especially when it comes to men who are trying to prey on them in some way. I'm not too sure. That's the thing about A24 movies, man. They kind of throw you for a lot of different loops, right? So
yes, they do.
Yeah, so that's the movie.
They go
Men.
all over the place.
Oh yeah, that and I think that's one of the reasons why their movies are so hyped for me, because they're really needed in today's culture where we have, so many movies or shows come out and they're all kind of like, they seem kind of like the same kind of cut from the same cloth, but you see an A24 movie, you're like, okay, this is going to go off the path a little bit and get us into some wacky territory. At the very least, it's going to challenge your perceptions of reality, challenge your theology, maybe like your ideas of like what you believe. which is always good because you want to either, you know, keep believing the same things, or you want to change to something that's actually more, you know, adjust yourself to what could actually be true in the world. And that's what powerful stories can do. And so I think at the very least, this is going to be a powerful story. And I'm really looking forward to it. So that's number 4 for me, is the movie Men, coming out May 20th. And then going into number 3 real quick is Top Gun Maverick. Of course, me and Alex talked about this before. Alex was talking about this before, why it's his most anticipated movie. It's in my top for me as well. I've mostly just been hearing amazing things about this movie, great reviews about what's happening here, and obviously that shoots it to the top when people that you trust and people that usually recommend you good movies and good content to watch, when they're saying that it's a top high quality level movie to watch. I know it was pushed back because of the pandemic, which, you know, is so unfortunate, because we would have been able to see this movie already. But it's finally going to be here, releasing, was it May 24th? I don't know. I forget exactly
it is later. Let's see. I think it's.
I thought I saw
it's
the
either
release date. Sorry, we don't have the exact.
It's
release
either
date
the
for you.
20th or the 26th. Let's see.
Yeah, actually, I can look it up too. Yeah, you can look it up while I just finish up. But I think for me, I'm really interested because I am a big fan of the Top Gun movie. I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise and just that character that he portrays in that movie. Just an iconic sort of cocky pilot type character, but also just the heart behind it. You know, the movie has like a lot of really cool themes and everything like that too. And I'm just interested to see Maverick as an instructor in the Air Force now. Or in the Navy. I'm not exactly sure if it's the Air Force. I think it's the Navy.
It's the Naval Air Force, yeah.
Naval. Okay, yeah. So
like the Navy aviators, because it's all about open water, like dogfights over open water and like missile defense and stuff like that. And the release date is May 27th.
May 27th. Okay, yeah. So
that's
going right on Obi-Wan too. Okay, yeah, cool. So looking forward to this movie for sure. Obviously, because of the quality that I've been hearing, it's going to be fantastic. And if you're a fan of the original movie, I think you're going to get a lot out of this. Seeing how characters move and progress. I mean, you're going to see the same character Tom Cruise played in that original movie, but he's in a little bit of a different situation. He's older. He has to deal with like sort of changing and adjusting to the times a little bit, probably. And we talked about this a little bit before we started streaming, but you know, being able to train the next generation of pilots, and maybe they're questioning his skills as a pilot, and seeing him able to prove them wrong, but also in a way encourage them, just like how he needed to be encouraged by some of the other characters when he was being trained and everything too. So that's just going to be a really interesting journey, character arc progression or whatever for the Maverick character for Tom Cruise. Also, just to see him fly around in a jet is just going to be so cool. I mean, hopefully the music and the sound and the editing and stuff is going to all just really come together, and it's going to be truly just a wild ride and an awesome experience, especially just to see this movie in the theater.
Yeah, super excited for this to come back. And like you said, the sound and editing are just going to be insane. I like the soundtrack for the trailer just brought back memories from the original as well. I'm so excited to see this.
Oh yeah, when you blast in Danger Zone. So that was number 3, right? Number 3 for me. Yep. So then I'm in my top 2 right now. Okay, so top 2. So this is number 2. It's not number 1. It's close between these last 2, but Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So as Alex was talking about when he shared his thoughts about this movie, I think it's going to be absolutely wild. I think it's going to be crazy. I think there's going to be horror elements as well in it too. Not traditional horror, maybe some traditional horror, because we're getting rumors that it's like the Marvel zombies and stuff, and some of these other dimensions where like really dark things happen, different realities where things are a lot more bleak. You might be able to see that. I just mean darker in terms of like cosmic horror, like existential horror, if that makes sense, where, you know, there are all these possibilities and these giant creatures that can destroy worlds and planets, and you know what I mean, and they're basically at the doorstep, you know, and it's up to basically just Doctor Strange he's the sorcerer supreme, and some of the other sorcerers, the people in the mystic arts, to basically try to defend this stuff. Because I don't even think the Avengers have the knowledge or the access to like magic that Doctor Strange has. So I don't think that, if a huge cosmic threat, if like a multi-dimensional threat were to just show up, I think it would be pretty much game over. So I think there's going to be a lot of really terrifying, horrors of the multiverse that we're going to see here. And so I think it's going to be really entertaining in that way. Like, you're probably not going to be bored with this movie for sure when you go see it. And I think Doctor Strange, there's sort of, I think I alluded to this when we talked, Alex, when you shared why it's in your top 5. I think they're setting up Doctor Strange to possibly do more and be more of like the linchpin of the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff going forward. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but it seems like with WandaVision and sort of him or her setup for the multiverse and what her powers and everything, but then seeing him in No Way Home and just his involvement with that to where he is now, it's like, it seems like he's just been at the center of a lot of this stuff, even if the release dates for a lot of these movies have been switched up because of COVID. I still feel like he's kind of at the center of a lot of this stuff. So I'm interested to see where they go with the Doctor Strange character moving forward. And so that's why this is so high for me. And I would recommend Marvel fans and not as hardcore Marvel fans to go see the movie too, because you never know. They have something for everybody. There are different movies that have different genres kind of blended into the superhero, type thing. And I'll argue that Doctor Strange, I rewatched the first one. It's kind of like, it is a superhero movie, but it's also like, it's sort of like this cosmic journey for this person who has a huge ego, basically. Like it's kind of like a drug trip if you like know anything about, because they mention drugs in the, like they mentioned LSD, like they mentioned that stuff. Like he basically goes on a trip and opens his mind to like the world, like perceiving the world around him, basically the world of spirit and the world of like the mystic arts. So it's kind of a superhero movie, but it's also kind of like an introspective journey trippy movie.
Yeah, very much a journey for both the character and the audience as we discover how the mystic arts is involved with everything in the MCU and what the possibilities are.
And there'll probably be a big CGI fight at the end. I mean, we already know what's coming, but still, like, I think there'll be a lot to offer in this movie. So I guess we'll just move on to my final, my number one most anticipated TV or movie for May is definitely Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Star Wars series that's going to be streaming on Disney Plus on May 27th. And also, I didn't mention when Doctor Strange 2 comes out, or in the Multiverse of Madness come out. I think that's tomorrow, today, technically. So
technically it came out today, but
technically came out today. Some of you guys already see it. Probably let us know what you thought of the movie.
There's no spoilers until Monday.
Yeah, no spoilers, but you can tell us if our bet came true. If Wolverine's in the Wolverine's in it. He's definitely going to show up, though. I'm probably going to lose $5.
Who knows?
Yeah. So where was I? So Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's going to be streaming on Disney Plus in May 27th, and I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, obviously it's because it's my number one most anticipated, but I got to explain kind of why. I was already talking to Alex about this a little bit earlier, but I grew up with the prequel episode 1, 2, and 3, those movies. I really enjoyed Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I really enjoyed Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. And they got a lot of flack. You get older and you watch more movies and you see more like how acting is sort of done, and you can kind of like see where people were hating on Hayden Christensen as Anakin back in the day. But there's also there's more to it than I think just his performances. I'm looking forward to seeing him, post Revenge of the Sith. Seeing kind of how he's dealing with being in this Vader suit and being in pain and dealing with like losing Padme, his love, and dealing with trying to hunt Obi-Wan, because I mean obviously he's going to blame Obi-Wan for a lot of tragedy and stuff in his life. So I'm looking forward to the emotions that is going to be probably drawn from this series. We already talked about the conflict between Uncle Owen and Obi-Wan, and I think that's going to be like, that's probably going to be, hopefully it's not going to be like the whole show is just the two of them kind of going back and forth. Hopefully, obviously, it'll expand and there'll be more like traveling and more characters and stuff. But just the fact that he was just so savage when he told him like, he needs to be trained, and he just told Obi-Wan like you trained his father, basically just putting his foot down, like, I don't want you to be anywhere near Luke, and that type of thing. And just seeing the conflict that's going to arise from just those two characters, I think is going to be really interesting. On top of all the other stuff, the Inquisitors, like you said, Alex, you mentioned that we're going to be seeing the Inquisitors for the first time in live action, which I think is going to be really cool. I hope they really nail some of these newer characters that we haven't seen before, because it does seem like from the newest trailer that dropped yesterday on Star Wars Day that they really are gonna nail the relationships between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader and that type of thing. But I am looking forward to getting some new characters as well too. It's not just about the past, but how you can take those older characters that we grew up with and we love, but then putting them into putting them with some new characters.
Yeah, and it really is something that helps something stay fresh, is introducing new storylines, new side quests, if you will, that kind of really help flesh out a character, even if you think you know everything about the character, like someone like Obi-Wan, where we've seen almost everything about his adult life except for this upcoming series. So I'm like I said before, this could go in a lot of different directions in how they show his journey between episode 3 and episode 4, and showing how he influences Luke as a child and how Owen really decides what is allowed, any interactions he has with Darth Vader and like his old apprentice, obviously, and just really interesting to see how they're going to show all of this play out.
Absolutely, man. And so that is my top 5. I'll run through it real quick because we'll just kind of recap it. But number 5 is Firestarter, coming May 13th. Number 4 is Men, coming out May 20th. Number 3 is Top Gun Maverick, which is coming out May 27th. And then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is coming out, well, technically came out today, so you can go see it today. And Obi-Wan, and number 1, most anticipated, highest recommended, is this Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series that's going to be streaming on Disney Plus on May 27th. And so, Alex, do you have anything you want to say before we close it out? I think this was a pretty good list that we were able to put together.
Yeah, May's got a lot coming out. Very excited. Been waiting for a lot of the things that are coming out in May for a few years now. So definitely excited to get into the theaters or get on the streaming services and watch everything I can between work and whatever. But very excited to see a lot of these projects come out, and some of the stuff we haven't listed that are coming out, and just to see what the entertainment industry has to offer for May.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't listed everything that's going to be coming out this month. Let us know what are you going to be watching this month. Did you pick any of the ones that we recommended in the top 5 or our top 5s? Probably have, because I mean, there's some big stuff. I mean, like, has been like 17 years or something like that since we've seen Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan Kenobi back from the Revenge of the Sith. I mean, there's some pretty big monumental stuff. You got the Top Gun movie, the sequel that we've been waiting for a while. And with COVID pushing stuff back, it's like, it's kind of unbelievable that it's finally here. So, we picked some of the major ones, but let us know what do we miss? What are some things that, should be on our radar? Some things that are on your radar. We really appreciate hearing you guys. We want to engage more with you guys. We want to just help the entertainment community, people that are fans of Marvel movies, things that are like really popular, but also things that are just movies and shows in general. Like, we want to just be alongside you and just be a place where you can get recommendations from friends and just kind of hang out and give your thoughts. And so we just appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys so much for watching, either tuning in live if you're watching this now, or later whenever you guys are watching this. We appreciate all of you guys so much for being here on the channel. Definitely, if you like what we're putting out, leave a like, comment. Like we said, let us know what your most anticipated movies and shows are for this month. And let us know just what your thoughts are in general about you know, some of the biggest stuff that you're excited about, or just whatever you're excited about in movies and shows. And I've been Elgin Adal. That's been Alex Hughes. And we're with the Pop Culture Lighthouse. And we hope to see you guys in the next video and the next live. So join us next week where we discuss something. Oh, also, like I said, keep an eye out for our Moon Knight stuff that's going to be coming out. We're going to have our thoughts on Moon Knight real soon. And so, yeah, thank you guys again. Just have a great day or night whenever you guys are watching this. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Have a good one.